The story of Romulus and Remus, two twins raised by a she-wolf, is one of the most enduring and famous myths of ancient Rome. It tells the tale of the founding of one of the most powerful and influential civilizations in history. But what's the truth behind this myth? Was Rome truly founded by two abandoned infants raised in the wild? Or does this story hold deeper political and symbolic meanings? Today, we're going to unpack the myth of Romulus and Remus and explore the political implications behind this legendary story. From their miraculous survival to the fratricidal battle that led to the founding of Rome, let's discover how this myth shaped the identity of ancient Rome and the political messages it conveyed. Romulus and Remus were said to be the sons of Rhea Silvia, a Vestal virgin and daughter of the king of Alba Longa, and Mars, the god of war. According to the myth, Rhea Silvia was forcibly made a Vestal virgin by her uncle, King Amulius, who feared her descendants would challenge his rule. But, as fate would have it, she became pregnant with twins by Mars. King Amulius, furious at the birth of the twins, ordered them to be abandoned. The infants were placed in a basket and set adrift on the river Tiber, where they were miraculously saved by the river god Tiberinus, who guided the basket to a shallow riverbank. Here, the twins were discovered by a she-wolf, or lupa, who nurtured them, suckling them in her den beneath the Palatine Hill. The wolf became a symbol of Rome's strength, survival, and ferocity, providing the twins with the foundation for their future greatness. Eventually, the twins were found by a shepherd named Faustulus, who, along with his wife, raised them as his own. The story of their miraculous survival and divine heritage quickly spread, and Romulus and Remus grew up to become strong, courageous, and fierce young men. As they grew older, Romulus and Remus became natural leaders. They gathered a band of followers and overthrew the tyrant Amulius, restoring their grandfather Numitor to the throne of Alba Longa. With the political power shifted in their favor, the twins decided to establish a new city of their own, a place where they could create their destiny. But this wasn't just any city, it would become the heart of the future Roman Empire. The two brothers made their way to the banks of the Tiber River, near the site where they had been saved by the she-wolf, and prepared to lay the foundations of their new city. However, disagreements soon arose over where the city should be built and who should lead it. This marked the beginning of a rivalry between the two brothers, setting the stage for the fateful and violent conflict that would determine the future of the city. The twins each wanted to lead the new city, and their rivalry soon turned violent. Romulus sought the favor of the gods by observing the flight of birds, a common Roman practice known as auspices, to determine where the city should be founded. He saw 12 vultures, signaling divine approval for his leadership. Remus, however, saw only 6 vultures and believed his claim to be just as valid. The brothers' dispute escalated, and Romulus began constructing a wall around the chosen site. Remus, mocking his brother's efforts, leaped over the wall, declaring that anyone could easily cross it. In a fit of rage, Romulus struck Remus down, killing him. Romulus's act of fratricide marked the tragic beginning of Rome's founding, and he became the first king of the newly established city. According to the myth, Romulus named the city after himself, calling it Rome. In the aftermath of the death of Remus, Romulus solidified his role as the sole ruler of the city, determined to create a thriving and powerful empire. The myth of Romulus and Remus is not just a story of two brothers and their violent rivalry, it's also deeply political. The founding of Rome through a fratricidal act reflects the Romans' understanding of the violence and bloodshed that were often necessary to establish political power and unity. The murder of Remus, though tragic, symbolized the ruthlessness required to lay the foundations of a great empire. This myth also speaks to the Roman ideals of strength, leadership, and divine favor. Romulus's victory over Remus was seen as a divine confirmation of his right to rule. His use of auspices and his establishment of Rome's walls were seen as acts of supreme leadership, protected and guided by the gods. This reinforced the idea that Rome's greatness was not just a result of human effort, but of divine will. Furthermore, Romulus's establishment of Rome as a city of warriors was politically significant. According to legend, Romulus invited fugitives, exiles, and other outcasts from surrounding regions to come to Rome, offering them a fresh start. This policy of inclusion helped to populate the city quickly and contributed to its military strength. ensuring that Rome would have a loyal and dedicated population that could defend the city and its ideals. The myth of Romulus and Remus left an indelible mark on Rome's identity. The founding of the city became a symbol of the nation's resilience, military might, and political cunning. The Romans saw themselves as heirs to the legacy of these legendary figures, strong, determined, and willing to fight for their place in the world. Romulus was venerated as a hero and was believed to have been deified after his death, joining the gods in the heavens. The Roman people constructed temples and statues in his honor, and his image became a symbol of Rome's indomitable will to survive and expand. His death, too, carried political weight, as it was believed that Romulus was taken up into the heavens by the gods, cementing his divine status. Moreover, the myth of Romulus and Remus also influenced Rome's later political traditions. The story emphasized the importance of leadership, unity, and the divine right to rule. It was a tale of how the Romans, through both fortune and violence, created the greatest empire the world had ever seen. While the myth of Romulus and Remus is full of dramatic elements and larger-than-life figures, the truth behind it is far more complex. Rome's foundation was not a simple tale of two brothers, but rather a story deeply tied to the political ambitions and ideals of the Roman people. The myth reflected Rome's values: strength, unity, and a willingness to do whatever it took to secure their place in history. The violence of the founding, the divine approval of Romulus, and the subsequent rise of Rome as a world power all contributed to the mythology that shaped the Roman worldview. The story of Romulus and Remus not only provided an origin for the city of Rome, but also reinforced the idea that greatness was not achieved without sacrifice, struggle, and the favor of the gods. As we look back on this myth today, we can see how it helped shape the identity of Rome, influencing generations of Romans and their understanding of their place in the world. The twins, Romulus and Remus, remain symbols of the enduring spirit of Rome, whose rise to power was as much about myth and symbolism as it was about politics and conquest.